I was watching the Lord Mayor's show today, was earlier on in the week, and the thought occurred to me that there's actually no resource for immigrants in the UK. How do you integrate if you're an immigrant in the UK? And I know a lot of people talk about it probably within the four corners of their home, but it would be great to sort of reflect if you're an immigrant as to how effective were your own methods of immigrating, but also if you've been an immigrant for the very longest of time, what are your tips for those that are just coming into the country? So I decided to do some research and I went on to Reddit. And there is a question on here where the person is asking immigrants in the UK, how did you integrate? So I'm going to read a couple of comments out to you. So this person saying, I've now been in the UK for over 7 years, and I feel like one of the biggest challenges is integrating. For a bit of context, I'm African, but I was born and raised in a Mediterranean country, but then my family relocated to the UK for work. I feel like a lot of the minorities in the UK treat people differently. As soon as they find out they're an immigrant, you're instantly called the term freshie. Whereas with the white British people, they tend to be either very friendly or very rude. My question is for someone like myself, how would I be able to integrate without any problems to minimize some of my issues? Now, obviously, when you post something on Reddit, you're expecting a response, and there are lots of useful contributors on the platform. So I'm just going to read a few of them out and we are going to sort of gather some senses. So someone's come back to reply with, don't try too hard, it will come. I've been here for over 20 years and I must say it comes with time. I'm not sure what stage of life you're at, but it slowly starts when you begin your professional working career. I came here for uni and that was my first introduction to a largely British group of people. You start picking up random British colloquialisms local to where you stay. You might start calling it a cuppa or a brew instead of a cup of tea, because frustratingly, tea is the meal you eat in the evening. Don't ask, I don't get it. Well, yes, that's what a lot of British people, the English actually, they will call the evening meal tea. You will pick up random shit British humor. You will realize Baldrick did indeed have a cunning plan after all. I don't know who Baldrick is, but yeah. When you start feeling that, don't fight it. Embrace it. Don't go overboard. So for them, which is the responder, the big change over was when they had a child. A child was born. They obviously kept some level of their ethnic culture with the meals they eat and the languages they speak. But they are largely raising a British child. That makes you very, very British because there's one of your own, there's one in your own home. Another person said, participate in Britain. A lot of problems in areas where they don't integrate is that they just don't interact with British people and they tend to stick to their own community. So I will say don't do that. And I'm not saying interact with racial Brits either, because that's not really British anyway. Just find a space, find a job or a hobby or whatever where you aren't just participating in a singular culture. So go down to the pub or to the chippy, which is fish and chips with them. Really, anything to get out of your comfort zone works. The next person is saying that I think the thing that's worked best for me is maintaining my own identity while still incorporating the parts of the UK that I love. I've been here for 12 years now and I still very much maintain parts of my home culture. All my mates and colleagues love that I'm different from them. I have a very different accent that they occasionally make fun of, but I'll banter right back at them. You know, I still love traditional food from my own country and I'm always happy to cook for friends who may have tried it before. To me, the best part of integrating into another culture is taking the bits of the culture you like best and combining them with part of your own. You're maintaining your unique identity while still taking on parts of the new country. Yes, and I think I do like the idea of that. So what I'm going to say is that from my own perspective, blending in and thriving in Britain does require you to do a few things. And I'm going to share some tips or give you some insights into what I think would help. The first thing is the British hello. The first thing is the British hello. So you think, all right, or you okay? In some parts of the world, if you say you're right, it's actually rude. They would think it's rude. Like, Oga, what's wrong with you? But here, hello, or you okay, or all right, simply is a way of saying hello. It's the Brits' way of saying hello. So when you're in doubt, just reply with a simple, I'm good, thank you. You all right? And British people love that. They love a good you all right cycle. You will keep it going. So keep it light. Smiling also goes a long way. But one thing I find is that the stiff smiling, they don't really mean it. Some people don't mean it and they just smile for the sake of, let me just show you my teeth and move on. Whereas in some other parts of the world, the smile is actually genuine. It comes from the bottom of your stomach, so to speak. But it is what it is. It's smile and just move on. Then the next thing is, depending on where you find yourself, food. The food culture, the Brits, not necessarily a huge foodie. They don't really have variety. Fish and chips, you have the odd tea. There's a lot of sandwich going around. So when someone offers you tea, if you're a tea person, just politely say yes. They'll make you tea. If you're a coffee person, do it. Go for it. They'll make you coffee. Tell them how you want your coffee and they will make it for you. It's great. If you're invited out and they're going down to the fish and chips or a Sunday roast, that may not necessarily be at their house. Fine. Go with it. Try it. It's great. You want to also learn and master the small talk for those who like it. If you were waiting at the bus stop and someone came along and they decided to make a small talk out of the weather, which is very, very common, they might say, oh, it looks like it's going to rain again. Boom, you've got a friend right there. All you need to do is just practice your own reaction. Yep, it's a bit chilly today, isn't it? Or even just give a shake of your head and say, typical, isn't it? The weather tends to bring people together. It starts the small talk and it's the way to go. If you're invited to a gathering, even if in somebody's garden, don't worry about the deep chat style right away. Don't try and get to know them. Just save the heavy story for much later once you've gotten to know each other. The next thing I want to say is you want to learn how to navigate the British humor. So the British humor is very subtle. You've got to have your wits about you to understand it. It can be sarcastic. Sometimes you might even wonder if they're joking or they're being serious. They love to poke. And they make fun at themselves even before they make fun at you. They make fun of you. So you want to be mindful of that. You want to be very comfortable with it. So don't take it personally a lot of the time. If somebody says to you, oh, you're keen, aren't you? All you need to do is just find a quick comeback line and you can just play along and say, oh, only as keen as the next cup of tea. That's just it. You can't afford to take anything personal. You've got to have a comeback line. Otherwise, you'll be rubbing people off the wrong way or you allow them to rub you off the wrong way. Either way. The next tip is embracing the British traditions. So whether you're a fan or not, I would advise you whenever there's a royal event or a royal event or something very English or British, I'd say attend. Watch it if you can. Because it gives you an opportunity to understand the cultural vibe. This is their own heritage. This is the history. Take part in local festivals if you can. Notting Hill Carnival is a great one. If you are in a small town and there's a fair, I'd say attend it just for the feel of it so that you can immerse yourself bit by bit, But also you want to adapt your lifestyle. I'm not a party to completely dumping your own identity because your identity makes you who you are. So life in the UK can feel very different in terms of the pace and the style. So here, walking is a big part of daily life. You can't flag down motorcycle from wherever it is as they do in other parts of the world. Here, you have to take to walking. It helps you get fit, so be prepared to get your steps in. And then there's that queuing. You'll find that at bus stops sometimes, British people like to queue. Yes, it is real. There's no pushing in. Queue to get on the bus, queue to get served in restaurants or in bars. No, actually, in pubs now, they want to try, rather than queuing straight along the bar, they want to try the single file so that bartenders don't miss individuals or people who are trying to constantly jump the queue. So I would say embrace walking, find a local park to you, and just keep strolling, stroll around your neighborhood, get to know your neighborhood if it is a really good one. But also, when it comes to queuing, make sure you're joining the end of the line. Yeah, it can be it can be very different if where you're coming from, that's not something that you would usually do, so it could be new to you. So but it's about blending in with the flow. You'll find these little shifts in lifestyle that they will tend to add up, and before you know it, you will become a natural. The other thing I wanted to add is being true to yourself. The biggest advice I can give you is for you to be yourself. Integrating doesn't mean that you lose who you are. No. You blend British traditions with your own. You find that unique balance that works for you. Britain is multicultural, so you want to be able to share your own culture as well. If you have children who are going to school on International Day, you want to bring your food from your own tradition, dress your children in, the traditional attire. It does help. You want to make friends as well. It's not a case of fixing code switching or fixing your accent so that it matches with what they speak. It's not like that, because you can't speak Cockney. There is no way, unless you're probably born here. Even those that are born here, they learn to switch it. They pick it up. They know when to use it and when not to use it. So that's my guide to blending in and thriving in Britain. I hope it's really helpful if you're new to the country, or if you're just finding your footing. I hope these tips do help. Oh, one bonus tip is that go and find Only Fools and Horses and watch it. It's the quickest way for you to learn British humor. I could be wrong. If I am, please let me know down below. All the best, and I hope you settle in the UK really well.